Okay, what I'm going to show you now is how to do the calculation for the response ratio. What you see here is a set of imaginary data, and so let's say that you inject the equimolar mixture of ethyl acetate, propyl acetate, and butyl acetate into the gas chromatography machine, and these are the areas under the curve that you get for the equimolar mixture. So what you see is the detector did not respond linearly to the three compounds. You get a less response for the ethyl acetate and a greater response for the butyl acetate. So we need a response ratio to correct our results so that they give the accurate areas for each of the compounds. Okay, so what we're going to do is compare each of these to one of them to figure out what the response ratio is. So we'll just choose the propyl acetate as the one to compare to. Doesn't actually matter which one you compare to, but you have to pick one and do the same thing for each of the areas. Okay, so for the ethyl acetate response ratio, do the calculation 438 divided by 523. That will give you the response ratio for ethyl acetate. So the response ratio is 0.837, and what that means is that the response for ethyl acetate is 0.837 of what it actually should be, or 83.7% of what it actually should be. For propyl acetate, since that's what we're using to compare, the response ratio is 1.00. For butyl acetate, the response ratio is larger than it would be, so it's 602 divided by 523. So that ratio is 1.15, in other words, 115% of what it actually should be if it gave a linear response for each of these three compounds. All right, so these are the response ratios for an equimolar mixture of ethyl acetate, propyl acetate, and butyl acetate. What you'll do next in the experiment is to inject a mixture of 2 or 3 of these compounds and figure out then what is the composition of the mixture. To do that, you'll need to let the computer calculate the area under the curve for the chromatograph and then correct those areas with the response ratios. So in the next video, I will show you how to do that correction for your unknown composition.